A warm wishes to all of you. In today's video, we are going to see 12th English Unit 2 poem. Okay? And the title of this poem is Our Casuarina Tree. This poem was written by Toru Dutt. Okay? Now tell me who is the poet of this poem? Toru Dutt. Now let's see some details about the poet. Okay? She was born in the year 1856 and she passed away in the year 1877. She was a Bengali poetess. She loved the land of her birth and remained thoroughly Indian in her consciousness and sensibility. So, land of birth, she was born in India. Okay. She wrote lots of poems and in that ancient ballads. This poem is a well-known collection of little poem which she has written. Then if you see Legends of Hindustan, this is also one of the famous poem written by Toru Dutt. Then she also wrote poems in French language and one specialized poem in French language is given in our textbook, that is Chef gleaned in French fields. Okay, Chef gleaned in French fields is a French entitled poem written by Toru Dutt. Then the most well-known poem of Toru Dutt is Our Casuarina Tree. This is what the poem which we are going to see in detail. Okay. Dear children, first I will tell you the summary of the poem in short, okay? And after that I will explain the poem line by line. This poem, it actually begins with a description of a tree, okay? The poet describes about a particular tree. The poet says that the creeper has wound itself round the rugged trunk of the casuarina tree like a huge python. What did the poet say? He said that the creeper has wound itself around the rugged trunk of the casuarina tree. And how did this seem to be? This seemed to be like a huge python. Okay. When the creeper wound itself round the tree, it seemed to be like a huge python. Do you know what is a python? Python is nothing but a variety of snake. It seemed to be like that. Okay. This creeper, it has also left deep marks on the trunk of the tree. The tree is so strong that it can bear the tight hold of the creeper. This tree, even though this creeper has wound around it completely, this tree is so strong and that is why it was able to bear the tight hold of the creeper. Okay. This tree is described as being gallant and possibly very brave, as very few trees could survive in the strange hold of this creeper. This tree is described as being a gallant tree. Do you know what is gallant? The meaning of gallant is actually being brave. Okay, it is brave enough and that is why it is tolerating the tight hold of the creeper. Then the poet goes on to describe the life that thrives amidst every fact of the tree. The tree is compared to a giant due to its huge size, strength and boldness. And then the poet actually he compares the tree to a giant. Okay. Do you know why he compared this tree to a giant? Because of the huge size, strength and boldness of the tree. The casuarina tree is wearing a colorful scarf. Often at nights, the garden echoes and it seems to be jubilant and the song of the nightingale has no end. So at night, how do the situations prevail? The garden echoes and it seems to be jubilant and the song of the nightingale, it never ends. Okay? It continues till the dawn. That is till early morning. This continues. At dawn, when the poet opens her window, she is delighted to see the casuarina tree. At dawn, what happens? The poet actually, she opens the window and when she opened the window, she is actually delighted to see the huge casuarina tree. Mostly during the winter season, a grey baboon. Do you know what is baboon? Here actually baboon means monkey, okay? A grey colored baboon is seen sitting on the crest of the tree. Crest of the tree in the sense at the top branch of the tree, okay? Seeing the sunrise with her younger ones leaping and playing in the tree's boughs, and the shadow of the tree appears to fall on the huge water tank. During winter days, a grey baboon usually comes and sits at the top of the tree. That is, sits at the crest of the tree with her younger ones sleeping and playing in the tree's boughs. Okay. And the shadow of this tree, where does the shadow of this tree falls? The shadow of this tree appears to fall on the huge water tank. Okay. And it is not just the magnificence of the tree that drew her to, but there was an emotional bond to the tree as well. Actually, it was not just magnificent, but she had an emotional bond with the tree. Okay. Dear children, do you know why she had this emotional bond with that special tree? Because it was under the shade of the tree that she played with her siblings. When she was a little child, under this tree, she usually played with her siblings, and that is why she had this close emotional bond with that casuarina tree. Okay. The poet remembers the tree because of the many happy memories of childhood days that are linked to it, which was a source of comfort and consolation to her in another country. So, these are the things that made her remember the tree again and again. Okay. Then she also expresses that the tree actually laments about the loss of her presence. Okay. When she was not nearer to the tree, she always expressed that the tree laments about her absence. Okay. When she is not near the tree usually keeps on lamenting. She hopes that the tree will be remembered forever as a yew tree of Borrowdale, immortalized by Wordsworth, are still remembered. She also immortalizes the tree for the sake of her loved ones by writing a poem for it. So, this is what the summary of this poem, which was written by Toru Dutt. Now it's time to see what you have understood from this summary. So, I'll ask you some one word questions. First question, what is a creeper compared to? In the summary, we learned that the creeper covers the trunk of the tree tightly. So the creeper, to what is this creeper compared to? The answer is the creeper is compared to a huge python. Okay. Then, how does the creeper appear on the tree? Here we have to tell about the appearance of the creeper. The creeper with its red crimson flowers appears like a scarf for the tree. Okay. Then, next question. Describe the garden during the night. During the night time, how was the situations that prevailed in the garden? Often at nights, the garden overflows with the sweet song of the nightingale, which has no end. Okay. Then next one, how does the poet spend her winter? During the winter days, how did she spend her time? She usually opened the window and she looked at the casuarina tree. And while looking at this, sometimes she also saw a monkey, grey monkey, sitting on the crest of the tree. And then the tiny young ones were leaping and playing in the boughs of the tree, right? Yeah. The next question, why is the casuarina tree dear to her heart? The casuarina tree is dear to her heart because it was under the shade that she played with her siblings and friends. Okay. While she was young, she usually played under the shade of this tree, and that is why this casuarina tree is very dearer to her heart. Then next question, what has Wordsworth sanctified in his poem? Wordsworth has sanctified the yew tree of Borrowdale in his verse. Okay. Then what is a baboon? A kind of large ape with a short tail. This is baboon. Okay. In other words, if you see, we can consider a monkey as a baboon. Next question. Who is the giant here? In this poem, who is considered as a giant? The Casuarina tree is the giant here. Okay. Okay, dear children. I hope you have understood the poem. Let's see in the next video. Like, share and subscribe for more benefits.